Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Glew
everyone.
University. Excited to have you all here. We'll get started with the webinar in just a few moments, but looks like there's just people filtering in here. So while we're waiting, if you guys want to say, hey, your name, where you're from, what your store is, we'd like to, know who we're talking to today. So feel free to say, hey, if you want to be shy, that's totally fine too. But yeah, like I said, we'll get started in just a couple moments.
Yeah, it's always more fun when you guys chime in, though, so we don't have to make things up to fill in the time.
That's true. Well, I'm Christian. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I don't own a e-commerce store.
I'm Katie. I'm also in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I work for Glew.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to have a shy group today. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to hide our cameras briefly here, and I'm going to share my screen.
Ooh, there we go.
Awesome. Slideshow. I always do that. Awesome. So for today, for today's Glew University, we're doing average order value. So we're going to be talking about all things AOV, the importance of it to your business, and how to actually use Glew to take action on it. So your hosts today are myself, Christian, and then Katie. I know we just introduced ourselves, but we both work on the client success team here at Glew, helping our customers use Glew and make the most out of it.
Yeah.
So the agenda for today is we'll go through the application. We'll chat a little bit about some metrics and definitions. We'll go through report building, and then we'll give you guys some resources at the end. Cool.
Okay, so for today's deep dive of AOV, or average order value, I guess it would be helpful to start off with the actual definition of AOV. So average order value is going to be your total revenue divided by your total orders. So what we're going to cover today is we're actually going to hop into the app, show you guys some of our filtering abilities, some of our drop downs that are going to lead you to finding AOV, leveraging your AOV, increasing that AOV, finding those high AOV customers, lots of AOV things today. So any discounts that can lead you to higher AOVs, and then obviously pushing customers to increase their cart size, become, higher average order value customers, and all of that good stuff. So we have some really cool metrics in Glew that we're excited to show you guys on kind of, bumping up your AOV and finding, additional average order value customers. And then we're actually going to hop into the app now and just kind of show you some of these metrics that we're talking about. So the first one is going to be in our highlights tab. So in our highlights tab, if you scroll down a few metrics, there's going to be an average order value section. So as you guys are probably familiar with in Glew, you have a lot of accessibility here. You can change your grouping by day. You can change your visualizations. If you're more of like a bar chart guy or girl, you can do that. You're also always going to have a comparison period. So you'll be able to see today's Sunday versus last Sunday's, or today's AOV versus this week's, this month's, this year's. And then you'll always have that benchmarking period as well for all of that good stuff. So that's just one of the many ways that we're going to define AOV here in Glew. This is going to be pulling from your ecom cart as well, just so you guys know. So all of that information is coming straight over from Shopify, BigCommerce, whatever cart you're using. You also have the ability to apply additional filters to this metric, which Christian is going to show us. So if you wanted to see like just your AOV from your first order channel of Facebook, you could easily do that, applying those 3 dots and then additional filters within the metric. This is dummy data, so it doesn't always make sense, but in your store, it should populate accordingly, and you'll be able to see that average order value for that niche group of customers. Next one we're going to go into is performance overview. So this is a really cool view on AOV because it's actually pulling in from your different channels, broken out by your UTM tagging. So if you're seeing anything wonky in here, definitely get with your account rep so they can help you get your channels all cleaned up so you can have really good reporting and be able to see those average value or average order value baskets from those different channels. So obviously you can kind of filter on AOV, see which channels are bringing in those highest AOV baskets. And then you can obviously, like, if your goal for the year is to increase that AOV per channel, you can start to focus there. So for this instance, looks like Recharge is doing really well. Another view on average order value is going to be in our predefined segments within Glew. So you can see right here, you can actually filter. If you're in the table view, you can filter on the actual AOV of your different customer groups. So if you want to see like what customer group has the highest average order value, you can filter that way, or you can go into the specific predefined segment that is titled high AOV. So these are going to be your customers with the highest average order value. Sometimes people like to push this one over to a Facebook lookalike audience just because you are, obviously you want customers that spend a lot with you each time. So that's one kind of option that you have here as well. And then our last view is going to be in orders. So we're going to be able to see orders discounts and then see the discount average order value. So what you're going to get here is a view of all your active discounts, and then you can filter them based on their discount average order value as well. So this is it's just a few ways that we can kind of, show you these different visualizations on average order value. But we're actually going to talk now on how to act on each of these different sections of Glew. So I'll let Christian take it away, but he'll get into more of the nitty-gritty details of average order value.
Yeah, awesome. So now that we know where to find AOV in Glew, let's talk a little bit about, what AOV is, how it helps our business, and how we actually take action in Glew. So obviously, the higher our average order value, the more people are paying us every time they order. It's pretty simple, right? That means that we're making more money for less orders, less work, shipping, creating orders and things like that. So having high AOV, regardless of the type of business you are, whether you're a super heavy purchase frequency or you sell a really high volume product, it's very valuable. So if you're either of those, if you have really expensive products, your AOV is naturally going to be pretty big. If you're both a purchase frequency and then, you're looking for more bundles to increase AOV, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So the first section Katie mentioned was highlights. So we're going to skip that, as that's basically a way to track your AOV and see how it's performing over time. The first action we're going to take is going to be AOV plus first order attribution. So what I mean by that is we're going to actually come into the performance overview section. We're going to sort by average order value. And as I was showing earlier, you can actually pin AOV and channel name and have those be right next to each other if that's your main purpose. So why we want to sort by first order is because what first order means. So the first order attribution, that is looking at these channels on the basis of where all of your customers first came from. So an example being, hey, I'm Christian. I see a Facebook ad. I click it. I go to your website. I convert. So let's say 2 weeks later, you hit me with an email. I see your email. I click into it. I buy, and then I decide to come direct. So in the first order attribution, all of those sales are going to be attributed to the original channel that brought you in. So the value of seeing this AOV via the first order attribution is it actually allows you to fully understand what sort of customers are first buying through what channels. So let's say, in this example here, it looks like, Instagram has a pretty high AOV. So for whatever reason, when you acquire customers through Instagram, they tend to buy more at once, right? Their AOV is higher. So when we're looking to increase our AOV, we're going to want to look to Instagram and dig deeper into that and see what campaigns are working, where's our profit coming from that, and kind of push that channel as more of like an AOV driver. So really it's using the site to understand what metrics are driving where, and then where you can spend more money. So in acquiring new customers, we're going to look to this section here. As far as acquiring customers, the next section would be, okay, well, we want to acquire customers that, we know Instagram provides high AOV. Well, what about different groups and hypersegmentation of customers can we utilize within Glew to also drive AOV? Katie mentioned this earlier. One extremely popular way to use Glew is for lookalike audiences. We pull in so much data that we give you a ton of different filtering options, hyper segmentation. And so one of the easiest is going to be this high AOV. High AOV I'm a high AOV shopper, right? When I buy online, I don't necessarily like to go buy one thing and move on with my day. I like to buy, 4 or 5 different things. I'm going to wait 7 days. I like to have a lot of products. So you should be targeting people like me who like to buy a lot at once. So let the audience do the work for you with these advertising platforms. So definitely use high AOV. This is going to be our high AOV calculation. If you'd like to do any of your own custom segmentation, you certainly can in Glew. You jump into customer lists, you click edit filters, and you see a lot of different options of ways to filter. But if you want us to do the work for you, I highly recommend using high AOV. There's also ways that you can segment customers and think of it as a little bit of like a reward program that encourages high AOV customers. So one thing that I like to typically do is jump into my customer list, click edit filters, maybe build what we call as like a VIP list. So you can think of that as having, a VIP would be somebody who has placed probably more than 3 orders and probably spent, 1 to 2 times your LTV. You can populate both of those in the edit filters. You can save it as a segment and you can pull that out of the system and you can send it over to your email platform. And what you can do with that is say, hey, for all of these high value customers who've already proven that they like purchasing from me, like their purchase frequency is high, maybe we need to boost their AOV. So what we're going to do is we're going to incentivize that through like a special promotion via email. So you're not sending it out to your entire customer base. You're only doing it for loyal customers. And what that's probably going to do is I know how it would affect me as a consumer. It's going to make me feel probably pretty special, right? I've spent a lot of money with you as a brand, and now you're hyper targeting me, making me feel very important. I'm probably going to take you up on that offer and may even add to it. So there's ways within Glew that you can create these hyper segmentation groups and do some, special promotions, and then do testing, see how they perform, and track it. Another section that we're going to look to increase AOV is going to be products, right? It makes sense. Products is what's going to populate typically what makes AOV go up and up. So one section within Glew that's very powerful is going to be our top products bundled. So what I highly recommend you do after this call is you're going to jump into your Glew platform. You're going to go to products, product segments. You're going to click into the segment called top products bundled. So what this is actually going to show you is in our dummy data here, how many times your number one product has been bundled, right? So this is saying more often than not, when your customers come to your website, they're buying this product and they're always having something else associated with it. So that in itself is really interesting because what you can start to do with that singular data point is advertise that product in a way that incentivizes that behavior more, right? If we know that people are bundling our Meredith heel, what we also want to understand is if we encourage that behavior, maybe if you buy that heel, you automatically get 5% off if you add something to your cart, right? Now we're encouraging that behavior that our customers are already doing, and that's by itself will likely increase AOV. Now, in addition to that, I have a lot of customers that sell products, clothing brands, companies who do flavor packs and things like that to understand what are people bundling with the Meredith heel size. So what you can actually do is click into a specific SKU. Example I pull up here is the blue suede jeans, right? So it looks like people are, for whatever reason in our dummy data, they're buying these jeans with this hat. So what do I do with that information? Okay, there seems to be a trend with customers saying, if I'm getting these jeans, I'm getting this hat too. It's just what we're going to do. So what you should do, again, is encourage that behavior. Promote those products together. If it's something that makes sense that this is like an outfit, if you're a clothing brand, or you sell hot sauce and you have like a 3-pack or something like that, you want to encourage that behavior. The data is already telling us that people are going to do this organically. So if we start encouraging it, it's going to increase and increase and increase the likelihood that it's going to happen, which then in turn is going to increase that AOV. So again, I highly recommend if you are not aware of these sections, you haven't looked at them, jump into Glew, take a look, and let your marketing, your email team know and say, hey, let's start promoting these products. If it is a bundle with clothing, let's put a great model in these clothing with a really cool background. If you sell other things like that, get creative with it. But this is a really powerful section. Cool. So then there's also discounts, right? So discounts are a super common way to increase AOV. If you think about it, the more you buy with a discount, the more of a discount you get, right? It's just simple math. If I'm going to get 20% off of my first purchase, I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of that 20% off, right? So what you want to track is your discount AOV. So within Glew, this is actually calculating post-discount average order value. Why this is important is because we definitely want to understand, if we have a 10% off, but, the AOV is lower, but we do have a, 25% off, the AOV is a lot higher. People are actually taking advantage of that. Well, then what we want to understand is that discount worth it to us, right? If we're happy with where that AOV is compared to our traditional AOV, which we can see in highlights, maybe that's one that we want to continue promoting, or maybe it's a one-time thing. They only get to use that discount once. But again, understanding what drives AOV through discounts can help you avoid, if you're getting a lot of one-time buyers. Well, if you're going to get a lot of one-time buyers, let's make sure they have high AOV, right? And a good way of doing that is using the discount AOV section. So AOV is a little bit more of a simpler idea within Glew. It's really more of like tracking, and then there's some basic stuff that you can do. But there are some just high-level things to increase AOV that are just recommendations that we make. So a good example would be discounts for bundles. So what we typically like to see is customers in their marketing and their emails within their shopping carts. I know you can do a lot of this stuff, but hey, if you order 3 or more products, maybe you get 5% off or 15% off, right? So let's say, or you could even do like specific bundles, like we said with those product bundles that we saw earlier. That anytime somebody buys shirts, if they throw in a pair of shorts in there, we give them 5% off, right? If that's me and I know I'm buying new clothes and let's say it's like you're a golf company, right? If I'm a golfer and I'm buying a golf polo, chances are I'd probably like shorts that match it, right? You want to look good. So you want to encourage that behavior. So that's one way that's very simple, but can be very effective. And in that mindset of a consumer, you're kind of tricking yourself into validating this purchase. So we want to encourage that validation. Another thing that I've seen a lot recently, and I've found that the success I've heard has been really, really strong, and myself, I've fallen for this, is these mystery boxes. We see this a lot of like the end of season where these brands will actually say, hey, here's a mystery box. Here's what's included. You get 2 shirts, 2 shorts, and a hat, or whatever the products you sell, you let people know what's in it. They select their size, and then it's a mystery, right? What you could do is you can fill this up with your low, your high inventory products that you need to get rid of. And it's a really good way to increase AOV, because those mystery boxes are typically going to have like, incentivized pricing, like you're getting 6 things for the price of 3 or whatever it may be. Well, that's still going to be more than one, somebody just buying one time. So mystery boxes or any sort of promotion like that is a really great way to increase AOV while also cleaning out some old inventory. Cross-selling in the cart. This is a super common one to use. You can also jump into Glew, and you can actually see in a customer, if you click into customer list and you click a specific customer, it will actually show you products that are recommended for that individual. With that in mind, in your actual shopping cart, what you can do too is also include that kind of logic where, hey, if I'm buying, a golf polo, well, I should be advertising those additional products in that checkout page, right? If it's a click away for me just to add in some shorts, and I get a discount because it's 2 products or 3 products, and hell, that actually fits my style profile, boom. Now I like your company, I'm getting discounts, I'm feeling awesome, AOV is increasing, and that customer buying experience is really simple. Post-purchase quick click upsells, it's kind of hard to say. But typically a customer, if they're already in the buying mode, the chances of them buying again are actually pretty high, which you would find surprising. But what we typically recommend is actually after you've secured a customer on their first purchase, like a lot of businesses will offer 10% off on your first purchase. Well, what about offering immediately after that first purchase, like 20% off or 15%. Like you give them a bigger discount, and now they're like, oh, awesome, I'm going to go buy. I had a couple other things that I wanted to put in my cart, but I didn't think about it because it wasn't a big enough discount, right? So now not only are you increasing AOV on that next purchase with more items, it also benefits multiple purchases, which is also super valuable for just, LTV as a whole. And then the free shipping threshold. This is the number one AOV thing that I've seen that works so well. I fall for it every single time. I definitely recommend trying it. So what that basically means is, I'm sure you're all familiar, is when you jump into, your checkout page, a lot of times you'll have that little bar that's like free shipping until, you need $20 more for free shipping. I'm like, well, shipping's $7. So if I spend this much more and I get that shirt, then it's free shipping. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. Right. So that's such an easy way to increase AOV. And you're convincing yourself as a consumer that this is a good deal. Right. So I highly recommend doing the increase, having some sort of free shipping threshold. A lot of people just do free shipping, which I would do if I'm doing a lot of bundling discounts. If you're doing free shipping with the threshold, beta test them. Try one and try the other and see how they perform. But all are really great for increasing AOV. Cool. So one thing I wanted to quickly touch on is there's a lot of this data in Glew. And maybe we want to create an AOV style report, right? So what we're going to actually do is I'm going to jump out of here. I'm going to jump right back into the Glew account. I'm going to quickly show you how I would build an AOV dashboard. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here to our AOV section. And maybe I want to understand, my AOV over the last 7 days, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little dot. I'm going to say, add this metric to a new report, right? We're creating a new AOV report. So I'm going to say, AOV tracker, right? There's no point in taking all these actions with AOV if we're not keeping an eye on it, seeing that it's improving. So we definitely want to create this. Now let's say that also I'm a little bit interested as well in AOV on a different view. So a different view here would actually be day of week. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click this again. I'm going to say add to an existing report. I'm going to search my reports. AOV tracker. Okay. Now I go down to my reports. I have my AOV tracker. I have my group by day and my group by week. I also want to focus on that acquisition, right? We want to acquire high AOV customers. What do we do here? I've gone ahead and pinned. When your Glew account, you're going to see this pin. I'm going to pin channel name. I'm going to pin AOV, and I'm adding them all here. From here, I am going to click the three little dots, add to an existing report, click AOV tracker, add to report. And then I'm also going to come in here and add in this. My products, my segments, top products bundled. I'm going to add this to an existing report. AOV tracker. Click add. Okay. You may want to add different things here, but we'll just keep it simple to start with 4 metrics. And then what you can do now is say, all right, this is fantastic. I can jump into my Glew account every day. I don't have to navigate the whole platform. As much as fun as that is, maybe you just need, hey, I got to increase AOV. That's what they told me I got to do this quarter, right? So you jump in here, you have your AOV tracker. You can take it and run. Now, let's say you want it to be even less labor intensive. Actually click email here, and you can schedule it out. So, you can say, hey, I'm going to send it to myself. I don't work on the weekends, but I'm going to keep an eye on it Monday through Friday. I need a little earlier than 6 p.m. Let's say, hey, start the day at 8, and it repeats daily. So, we're looking at the last 7 days. Again, you can pick whatever date range you choose and just click save. And now the report's going to be emailed to you daily. So the reporting aspect of Glew is really powerful too, because it gives you not only the metrics that you need, but also you can support, it coming at a weekly cadence. Cool. As far as FAQs and resources, we'll go ahead and share this slide deck with you all here at the end. But within Glew, we have a ton of FAQs, webinars we host on the website. videos for trainings and things like that. And there's a ton of in-app documentation. And then we send out, with our marketing team, sends out a good bit of information. But keep an eye on that in-app documentation as well. There's a little icon next to all the metrics that will give you some more insights as well. Sweet. We're a little bit under time here, so we have quite a bit of time left for questions. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. I will bring my camera back on, and we'll see. Did we get?
I'll come back too. I've been answering a few of them in the chat, but I think maybe Glenn's. I guess Glenn, I didn't answer one of Glenn's questions of it would be great if Amazon marketplaces could be separated. At the moment, it pulls into one report, i.e. US and Canada, which I believe you'd be able to do in Looker, right?
Yeah,
break them
definitely.
out by
Yeah, so
country.
As far as our Amazon integration goes, as it affects Glew Pro, it is based on region, so they are typically brought in together. But within the actual application, you will see a separate dropdown for AOV. So we'll give you an understanding of AOV just as like Amazon as a whole. But there is some more customizable options, with Looker, which is the tier above the standard app, which is like customization of reports and things like that. And Glenn, this is recorded, so we typically send the slide deck and a recording of the webinar to everybody.
Yeah.
And it looks like
I don't know where you can get the heels though. That one I can't answer.
The heels, yeah. Shout out to our dev team for creating this demo store with the heels and the Sally Red hat.
All of our made up products that we sell.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope this was helpful, and kind of getting an understanding of just ways that you can drive AOV within Glew, and just some tips and tricks around AOV that have been shared with me over some time, just being in the e-commerce industry. Are there any more questions? If you think of one later, you can always reach out to me directly or Katie, or you can just email support@glew.io. That'll just route you to your account rep or whoever is available for support. But we'll give it like 30 more seconds for questions. Yeah, absolutely. So what you're going to want to do if you're in your Glew app right now, I can chat you through it. So what you're going to do is actually, I'll share my screen so everybody can see. What you're going to do is you're going to go to products. Under products, you're going to go to segments. Under segments, we're going to see top products bundled. So this is just going to show you the top 25 or whatever it may be in here. If you click view all, this is actually going to take you into a tabled format, which is a little bit easier to manipulate. And then from there, when you see your top product bundled, you may want to ask that secondary question. Well, what's the top product bundled with this product, right? You click that product, then you're going to see this often bundled with this product.
Yeah, you have to be in a specific variant SKU too, just so you know.
Yeah. So you'll see that here.
Cool. Anybody else?
Going once, going twice. All right. Well, if anybody does have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. The next webinar we're going to do will be just a 101 training as well. So if you're just looking for a refresher on the platform as a whole, what the buttons do, where they are, and all that fun stuff, that'll be the next webinar. And then we're going to wrap up this deep dive series. We started with purchase frequency. If you didn't watch that webinar, I would highly recommend that. I know a lot of our customers, the name of the game is getting people to buy and buy again. So reach out to us. We'll send you the recording of that. Obviously today was AOV, and then the next one we're going to do is LTV. So purchase frequency times AOV equals LTV. We're going to focus on all things LTV. So how do we make all of our customers have very, very big LTV? So that'll be the focus. So looking forward to that one. I hope you all can make it as well. And we'll talk to you all very soon.
Yeah. Bye guys. Thanks for joining.